Hey, how's it going?
Hey, you found out how it works.
Yeah, sorry, I was very difficult. I'll give a quick intro and then I'll welcome you in. Hi, how's everybody doing? I'm Eric Olanowski, your host for UWW Live. Make sure you're following United World Wrestling on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. Upcoming pieces that we have coming out are going to be top 5 Turkish wrestlers. That'll come out early next week. We have the top 5 active Indian wrestlers up right now. Make sure you check that out. And next week's guest for UWW Live will be Bekzad Abdurrahmanov of Uzbekistan. But today we have Denmark's 25th Greco-Roman Olympian, Fredrik Bjerrehuus. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I just cleaned the apartment, so now it's a break.
Living fresh. I like that. Let's start here. I like to always kick off the show with finding out about the person who we have on, how they got started in wrestling, and the impact that wrestling has had on their life. So can you tell us where you got started or how you got started?
I started when I was 5 years old in my hometown. Now I live in Copenhagen. I had too much energy. I got into fights in the schools. Yeah, just too much energy, and then I was a little bit chubby, maybe fat. And then my mom, she thinks that I look like a sumo wrestler from Japan. So she was like, okay, maybe you should start to wrestling, burn some energy off, and then it will be good. And then I started, and I didn't like anybody to touch me. Like, it was okay for me to make some moves on the guys, but if they touched me, it was like, ooh, I didn't like that, but I got used to it.
And it ended up working out. So you make the Olympics. It's pretty cool that I was looking at Denmark's history for where you are, and Denmark currently has 20. You're the 25th Olympian, but how about this? 12 Olympic medals out of those 25 guys. Does that put a lot of pressure on yourself? Nearly half of all of your Olympians have a medal.
Yeah. No, not really, not really. I'm just going in there doing my best, but it was like we could actually have two. We had the 2 5th place in London. Marky lost, and Håkan Lybblom also lost. So it could have been more actually.
You talk about Mark Madsen.
Yeah.
Let's touch on him. He's obviously been a massive part of Denmark's wrestling, and he's had a lot of great things to say about you. But what impact has he had on your wrestling career?
Someone to look up to. Like, he's very professional, doing everything with his heart. Like, he don't do anything 80%, he does it 100%. So he's very professional, and he go into, if it's a diet, if it's a training, he's focused 100%. So that's something I took from him into myself.
What about off the mat? Because often champions make an impact more off the mat than they do on the mat. So what type of lifestyle changes did you have to make after spending all this time? Because you guys traveled all around the world. I did a deep dive on your Instagram, and you guys were, since 2000, whenever your Instagram was, I'll say that, you guys have had pictures up. So what impact has he made on your life off the mat?
Mark, or just a normal general?
Mark, yes.
Just to show how to manage the family, make everybody happy. But when you're on training camp, it's full focus. But then you're home, you give a lot of time to your family and friends. And that's also one of the things I took with me. Like, when I'm home, I'm home. I also train, but I'm showing my love to my family, friends, and everything. So it's like you have to separate the two things a little bit. Like, go hard on the mat, but when you are home, you're really home.
And that's the thing about you, is your lifestyle is separate, and you can see that just by following along on your Instagram. Uncle Fred, you always hashtag it.
Yeah.
So you have a niece, Elva, and a nephew, Otto. correct?
Yeah, correct.
Talk about that. Your niece and nephew, and they're a big part of your life. You could just tell that they are. So what does it mean to you to be an uncle?
Yeah, it's huge. Like every time I come home, it's like happy, and it's small kids, so I try to learn them something like from wrestling, and they always want to fight, and it's just happy times, like getting so much energy from it. But they live like 400 kilometers away from me, so it's like not that often I'm home. So when I'm home, it's very good for me.
Family time.
Exactly.
Let's talk about some wrestling here. You sat out the European Championships in the Matteo Pellicone earlier this year, so you haven't competed since Nur-Sultan. First, I want to ask, what was the background behind sitting out of the two competitions this year? Obviously, you couldn't have anticipated COVID would happen, but why did you sit out those two competitions?
From the match I qualified in Nur-Sultan against Bulgaria, I went to sleep for the semifinal, and when I wake up, I couldn't walk, like I couldn't get up, so something was wrong in my back. And then I went to the semifinal, but it didn't went well. I couldn't move. And then I went to the fifth place, and I couldn't do anything. I went home to the doctors in Denmark, and I had those some huge problems with my lower back. So it took, I think, 4 months or something. Then I went back on the mat, and it happened again. So I couldn't wrestle the Danish Tour Masters, and I couldn't go to European Championship or Danish Championship. So it was a minor setback, but now the coronavirus, it was okay, but I needed the European Championship for Olympics.
Now looking back at it, it's almost a blessing in disguise that having this time to rejuvenate and get back to 100%. Moving to the World Championships, and we'll start back in 2011. You've wrestled in 5 World Championships, and here are your places in those 5 World Championships: 40th, 33rd, 23rd, 7th, and sorry.
Tell me again.
Sorry. So the World Championship finishes. You went 40th, 33rd, 23rd, 7th, 5th. So it's been a constant improvement for you.
But it doesn't sound good, but it's improvement every time.
Every time has been an improvement. So looking back to, we'll even say, because after your 2018 performance where you finished in 7th place, you were leaving Budapest, and I quote you said, 7th place at the World Championships, I'm not satisfied, but it's been a great year. So what have you taken from those past World Championship experiences that led you to 2019, which was arguably the most important tournament of your life?
It was like every time I want to step up, like from every championship. And it was like when I got the 6th place, I knew it was top 5 at the World Championship. So I was like putting a lot of hard work in, and I knew that if the small percent was on my side, and if I trained well and everything, I could manage it. So it's like getting better every time. Like now I know I'm there, like top 5 every time. So I know I can beat number 1 also, but you gotta have the day also.
Talk about a day. Your day in Nur-Sultan. For you to get to the finals, it was really a tale of 2 different sides of the bracket. You look at the top half and on the bottom. You were on the top half, and Artem Surkov, defending world champion, on your side. But the bottom side, you had Ismail Barrero, Olympic champion, Frank Stabler, 3-time world champion, Hansu Ryu, 2-time world champion, Rasul Chanayev, Mohamed El Said. All these guys you had that were on the bottom side. So when the bracket comes out, what are your initial thoughts?
I actually don't know who I'm going to fight before, like after the weigh-in, like 1 hour before, because you can't change anything about the opponent. Like you have to focus on yourself, cutting the weight, getting refueled and just go in there. So we all know what everybody else can do, but you have to focus on yourself. So I didn't think about it. I didn't know who I was going to fight next match after the first one. So I take one match at a time every time. So I was like, I didn't know if I had Frank or anybody in the second fight. It doesn't matter to me. I just focus on myself.
Has that been your career from the time you started wrestling, that you don't care? Or was this something that you got in your head one time and you said, to me, I should just not look at the brackets?
It was like, I tried to look in the brackets sometimes, and it's like, then I couldn't sleep the day before. So it didn't do anything good for me. I just needed to focus on myself. It's like, I don't know if I don't care. I just don't care about them. I care about me, because I'm the one who's going to win. And yeah.
And that's how I was in my wrestling career too, because so often you look forward, not only do you beat yourself because you start to look at and you make these predictions that most of the time never happen. Exactly. The bracket never plays out. If you say A is going to win, most likely B. It's just something. So I was the same way. You end up winning 3 matches to get to the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
2 matches, excuse me. And you have Dimitrov of Bulgaria in that quarterfinal match. You win that match, and you at least qualified Denmark for the Olympic Games. I'm not sure how the process works for Denmark, but of course you are their rep. You did, that has been announced. But let's talk about that match. Such a defining match for your career moving forward. And you come out, and when you rewatch that match, you could just tell that you had this burning desire in your eyes. When you walked out on the mat, you could just tell you meant all business. So walking out to the mat, what's going through your head?
To be honest, not much. Like, I was just focused on myself, and I was like weird, because then I thought afterwards I wasn't scared, I wasn't nervous, I was just calm inside. And I was like, before this fight, 1 year before, and I was like, okay, if I was in a fight to qualify for the Olympics, I would fucking shit my pants. But it was like, it was all good, and it was just a normal fight for me. I knew what I could get, but it didn't matter that much. It was all good, actually. Not nervous, not anything.
And do you think that comes from your preparation? You put so much work in on the back end, and having that confidence that you've prepared enough. Do you think that's where it comes from?
Yeah. If I do the training my national coach, then I will be in the perfect shape and everything, and we did it all good. So I was like, now we're here. Now we just have to trust the previously progress. Like, we can't do anything else now. Now we can only fight. So I know I'm in good shape every time, so it will be good.
Came out, huge 4-point throw, and then you tack on, you try a lift, tack on a gut, so it's 6-0. You end the match that way. But in watching the match, your coaching staff starts to celebrate about the 15-second mark with 15 seconds left. Your 2 coaches come together. They're smacking the mat. When did you realize that you had the Olympic berth locked up? Was there a time on the clock when of course you want to wait till 0, but was there a time when you heard them celebrating at all, or no?
No, not at all. I didn't hear anything at all. I was just in the mats, and it was like, when he put his arm on my neck, like he was coming at me with 100%, because he wanted this as bad as I do. But then he put like the arm on my back, on my neck, and it was like, I could feel he didn't have power. He couldn't pull me anything. And it was like maybe 4 seconds left. And I was like, okay, it's home.
And then you start to flex, and some great photos. Do you remember that moment, or is that kind of just one of those out-of-body experiences that you'll be chasing for the rest of your life?
No, I remember it, but it was like, I didn't know what I did, actually. It was just coming to me. I haven't planned anything, any celebration, anything, maybe a backflip. I didn't think about this. It was just a thing.
And November 21st, you announce it's official. I've been selected for the Olympic Games in Tokyo, and you post a photo of you in the Danish kit for the Olympic Games in 2020. They're pretty nice. What are your thoughts when you put them on? Did you like it?
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. They're good, representing the good colors and everything. It's the perfect match.
So often I ask for fan questions and I accidentally skip them. I get to the end of the show and just slips my mind. So let's throw in some fan questions right here. Tommy Cryo asks, do you think about an MMA career after the Olympic Games?
I just had I think about it. And it was like, Mark, he's doing well. He's in the UFC now, so maybe I have some opportunities, and we have some good fighters home. But we will see, because yesterday at practice I got like a knee into my a chin, and it was like it hurt that much. Like today, I was like, if I get one like on purpose, like he wants to hit me. I don't know. Maybe it's not worth it.
A lot different.
I've been fighting in discos and everything. It's enough.
El Jefe the Boss asks, Gel Molholt, do you know he's an upcoming Danish wrestler? Do you know him?
Maybe he's one of the cadets in the club, I think. Maybe. He wants to promote himself. He's a young, tall kid. I know him.
Phil Helgeson asks, this is a tough one. I've rattled my brain thinking about this one. Who will win the European qualifier at 67 kgs?
The Armenian guy from Poland, Shakayan, I think.
Okay, good guess. What are your thoughts on that? The European qualifier is going to have crazy. We had Morton on a couple of weeks ago, and we had the discussion with him. I mean, that European qualifier is going to be crazy. When you look at that, are you just like, man, I'm glad I qualified?
Yeah, I was like, because the Europeans are usually pretty good in 67 kilos, so it was like, it's good that not many Europeans already qualified. But yeah, it's it's a tough one. Yeah, I don't know who no, I don't care. I don't care who will qualify. We will see when they do it. Now it's all good.
Moving to Tokyo 2020, you've already mentioned that with the back issues, your training has taken a hit and you've had to step back and worry about your health. Are you back on the mat now?
Yeah, we started for 2 weeks ago. Because of this coronavirus, we had only one sparring partner, me and Fredrik Sultanov. So if our sparring partner gets sick, we don't train because we don't get another one. But now, yesterday, everybody could train in the club again. So now the country is open again. So now I'm just like technique and a little easy on the mat. Yeah.
And that would be one heck of a 1-2 punch. You and Bisultanov back to back at the Olympic Games. We'll talk later about that off the record with what's going on with him. But the Tokyo Olympic Games, they're going to be the biggest tournament of your life. Yeah. What are the goals going in, and what are the improvements you have to make? Because you talked about a 5th place finish with that hurt back. If you were not to have hurt back and it was your perfect tournament, let's talk about the improvements that have to get made, and what are your goals?
Yeah, I talked with my national coach about some improvement. It's not much, but we have to make some good adjustment, maybe some surprises for the Olympics. I won't talk about that.
Give us all your secrets right here.
Exactly. Yeah, man, my goal is like becoming the Olympic champion.
And what would that mean? Picture yourself. Do you picture yourself hearing the Danish national anthem, standing atop the Olympic podium, watching that flag being raised? Do you ever picture that?
Yeah. Right after I qualified, it was like my dream for, I think, 6 days in a row, every night. I had this one, and I was like, shit. And I can always remember what I'm dreaming at the night. So it was weird, actually.
You would wake up, and that would be what you dreamed of, is hearing and seeing yourself atop the podium?
Yeah, exactly. And then my family on the sideline, and the national coach and everything, because my national coach, he had been working just as hard as I have. So it means a lot to him also.
And we're running out of time here, but you mentioned you live in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
I love food. You're a wrestler. I'm sure you love food too.
Too much.
Do you have any great stories for restaurants that are next level? Because to me, it's one of the best food cities in the world. So do you have any great restaurants that you'd recommend around the area?
No, we just have like a lot of restaurants, like from food all over the world. We have, I think, we have one food market where you can get like everything from Japanese, Indian, everything, like fresh food. And it's like just a whole market full of food, and you just go and taste everything. It's perfect. But then every street corner, we have Chinese, everything. It's like, it's hard not to eat out. Like you need to cook at home, but it's like so hard because it tastes so good, everything, and it's cheap, and yeah, it's hard not getting fat.
Yeah,
especially in this time.
Well, we're out of time. Do you have anything you want to say to your fans? The floor is yours. Please let them know where they can follow you on social media. And like I said, if you have anything to say, here it is.
Go follow me on Fredrik Bjerrehuus, and I will see you in Tokyo 2021 at the podium at number 1.
Well, Fredrik, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Eric Olanowski. Make sure you're following United World Wrestling on all social media channels. And next Wednesday, Beksad Abdurakhmanov of Uzbekistan will be joining us. Until then, so long. Thanks again, Fredrik.
Thank you.